Write this down. Raise the bar on yourself. Mr. Washington said, Mr. Brown, he said, stop sitting with the kids in special education. I said, why? He said, they call y'all the Dodo Ward. Sit with the smart kids. Mr. Brown, whatever you see everybody else doing, you go in the opposite direction. Dress differently than them. Learn how to express yourself. Why, sir? Because once you open your mouth, you tell the world who you are. You want to be around people who have goals. You know what it does? It inspires you. When I saw Sir Richard Branson, people trying to get pictures with him, they took a picture of us talking, but I was sizing him up. And I was saying, he's breathing air just like me.
That's right.
He puts his pants on, one leg at a time, just like I do. For 14 years, I didn't do what I'm doing. Had this friend in my ear, Les Brown, you can do more. Les Brown, you got personality. Les Brown, you can move people through a microphone, they can't see you. And what can you do if you can see them? And I just couldn't see, because I was comfortable. I just couldn't see my using my talent in another way. I did radio extremely well. You can wake me up in the middle of the night. I can come in this city and I can turn it upside down. You give me a microphone. Charles, you'd all said something. Unless you attempt to do something beyond that which you've already mastered, you will never grow. I had mastered that. And he had another vision for me. And then something happened. I was at this motivational event in Dade County Auditorium. Zig Ziglar was there. Wayne Dyer was there. Jim Rohn was there. Tony Robbins was there. Dr. Robert Schuller was there. And I was watching them. And a guy opened and he was boring. Guy opened, he had no passion, he had no personality. This guy spoke and people went to sleep. But I was watching him. And then I could hear Mike Williams saying, Les Brown, you can do that. And then this guy said something, and there's over 5,000 people there, but I knew he was talking to me.
Yes, sir.
He said, as if somebody touched him, he said, there's somebody here who has a passion for helping people like I do. He said, you know who you are. You love helping people. They call you for advice. It's who you are. It's what you do. You know who I'm talking to right now. And he said, you have more passion and more personality and more smarts than I do. I don't have all that going for me. He said, and this is when he knocked me down. The reason I'm standing up here and you're seated out there, I represent the thoughts you have rejected for yourself.
Wow.
Wow. That's deep.
And when he said that, Ali, I started thinking the times that I said to myself, Les Brown, you can't do that. You don't have a college education. Les Brown, you can't do that. You were labeled educable, mentally retarded. You were put back from the 5th grade to the 4th grade and fell again in the 8th grade. Les Brown, you can't do that. You do radio, but you never worked for a major corporation. You are a dashiki man. You're not a shirt and tie man. You don't know the culture. You don't know the language. And Mike said, Les, all of us are born the same way. Dumb, naked, and speechless. You can learn. How many have somebody see something in you that you didn't see in yourself? Raise your hands. I'll tell you something. This is your time. You're in a city where over 50% of men who look like you are unemployed. A study was done, Gallup said, if a person actively looked for a job for a year and can't find it, the psychic damage is more than if they lost someone they loved through death. If they lost a relationship, went through a divorce. The psychic damage, they have not found any psychological tools to help them to overcome that psychic damage and diminished sense of shock. John H. Johnson, in a book called Making It Against All Odds, he said, there is no defense against an excellence that meets a pressing public need. You're in New York. People in New York, you in New York, you can drop y'all off on the moon. You don't even need oxygen. New York. New York is crazy. Animals. Different. I'm in a cab and a blind man was crossing the street with a dog. And the light changed. And the cat stopped going, boom, boom. I said, hey, man, the man is blind. He said, that dog knows better. I said, hello, New York. You're in New York. You can make it in New York. You can make it anywhere. You can't tell me Al shopping. You can't tell me that Al is the sharpest knife in the drawer. I've seen some people here already. Bad. Everybody listen together, you gotta be bold. You gotta be bold. You gotta be bold. When you sing in that video that I'm singing, Mike Williams said, Les, get yourself together. I was in the bathroom. I went 7 times. I tell you, 7 is my favorite, you know. I was born February 17th. My social security number is 267. My phone number is 702. Naaman dipped himself in the river Jordan 7 times. Joshua marched around the walls of Jericho 7 times. Did I tell you 7 is my favorite number? I went to the bathroom and I looked out and saw 80,000 people. I went to the bathroom 7 times. I was in there and Mark said, Brownie! I said, yes, come out, man. I said, Mike, I can't think. Brownie, listen to me. Okay, Mike, okay. Are you listening? Yes, I am. What's wrong, man? I don't know, Mike. I don't know. I think I got an upset stomach. Brown, did you look out front? Yes, I did, Mike. Yes, man. You saw those people, Mike? Yes. Brownie, listen. Calm down. Open the door. Mike, I'm doing number 2, man. No, you're not. I hear you walking back and forth, man. Come out, Brown. Come on. The place got to be stinking in there, man. Okay, Mike. Okay. All right. All right. Take a deep breath, Brown. Yes, sir. Come on. Do it again. Come on. Okay. Let's look at me. Yes. You can do this. I can? Yes. Brown. They came to see you. You didn't come to see them. Get yourself together, man. You can do this. Okay. Say it to yourself. I can do this. I can do this. Will y'all pray for me? Yes, okay, good. Put your hands on my head. What'd you do? Yeah. They pray for me. I said, Mike, you sure I can do it? You can, Brownie. Just pretend you're in your living room. Pretend you got a big whiz party. You know when you start running those bosses, yeah. That's who you are, man. No kiddie, okay. You can do it. Yeah. Okay. Have you ever been in a situation you choked? Raise your hands. I choked. I choked. And he spoke to me. And when he spoke, there was something in his voice. When he spoke, it gave me courage. You ever had that happen for you? When he spoke, it gave me courage. And I kept saying, I can do this. I can do this. I can do this. Sometimes you need to do that. You need to say to yourself, you've got to encourage yourself. I can do this. I can do this. You've got to say that to yourself. When I was going through my challenge with the little C, I was going for walks every day. I gave thanks that I'm healed. My body is producing powerful white blood cells that kill quickly and permanently every renegade cancer cell in my body. I give thanks. My immune system is strong and I'm healed.
Yes.
After 17 years of saying that, 17 years of having a plant-based diet, doctors looked at me 3 weeks ago and said, Mr. Brown, you're God's miracle child.
Yes,
There's
Lord.
no cancer in your bones or your body. I'm telling you what I know.
Yes.
You have something special. You have greatness within you. I'm going to say this 3 times. It's worth writing down and placing it someplace. Life is a fight for territory. And once you stop fighting for what you want, what you don't want will automatically take over. Life is a fight for territory. And once you stop fighting for what you want, what you don't want will automatically take over. If it's for your health, if it's for your relationship, if it's to create financial independence, if it's building your business, if it's growing your organization, if it's moving a product, if it's developing your brand, if it's whatever you want, it's a fight for territory. And once you stop fighting for what you want, what you don't want will automatically take over. Everybody say with me, please. There's no success.
There's no success
without successors.
without successors.
I have a young lady that I'd like to introduce you to. I'm just so excited that she's a part of our speaker training program. How many got a story? Raise your hands, please. Got a story. And she lives here. And she has a multiple personality, but I'm going to introduce you to the first part of her personality. And she's a very special person. I love her and admire her. She handled our motivational calls on Monday night. I want you to give a round of applause to New York's very best, brightest, and motivated and inspired speaker. Her name is Stacey N.C. Grant. Give her a round of applause.
Repeat after me.
Go ahead.
Action, action.
Action, action.
Despite the distraction.
Action,
Now I need a little bit more energy. Action, action.
action.
Despite the distraction.
Despite the distraction.
Coming here tonight, somebody might have had a distraction. The ability to be here, what Les Brown just shared, with everyone sitting here, that you had an appointment to be here tonight. A divine appointment to be here tonight. And no matter what was in your way, the rain, some inconvenience, someone saying to you, well, the game's going on tonight. You sure you want to go out to the Brooklyn Marriott? That there's something that could have stopped you from being here tonight. But that mantra that I just gave you, and that I was blessed to put into words and give others courage, is to know that you have to keep moving no matter what life throws at you.
Amen.
Now, I know there have been a couple of times when I wasn't sure why things happened, where I couldn't be standing here right now because of obstacles that were literally thrown in my way. Now, we're here in New York. Everybody knows the Correspondence Expressway, correct? Yes. So you know when you're traveling on that, there's a whole lot of truck drivers that are going and going and going. Well, one day I was coming from the Bronx, leaving a client, heading back over the bridge. And I'm talking to a client on Bluetooth, and in the distance, I see something glittering. And I'm saying, well, what is, and before I could say that, a piece of metal came flying through my windshield straight in my car.
Wow.
This far from my face.
Wow.
At that point, there were angels carrying me because I didn't know how I remained so calm. I was holding the steering wheel and I'm looking at these people around me. Were looking out their cars like, what just happened? But I could not stop because if I pressed on the brakes, someone would have rammed in the back of me, that would have been the end. If I swerved the car, someone would have hit me and that would have been the end. All I could do was stay steady. And somebody in here tonight is going through something. You can't stop because there's something else about to rear-end you. You can't swerve because you'll lose sight of your target, and you just have to stand in the midst of it and keep moving. And that's what I did. I held on to that steering wheel. I couldn't get off. There was no shoulder because I was literally right in front of the merge to the bridge. So I sat in my car driving with a 5-foot piece of metal.
Wow.
Glass all over me. Going through with my easy pass through the toll. People still looking like, what in the world is going on? Have any of you seen the movie Final Destination? I don't know where some of these people make these things up, but for a minute there, I thought I was in a movie. I said, if somebody put me in the new Final Destination and didn't send me a check, I was a little concerned. But then when I got off son's shoulder, I heard the sirens coming because the highway patrol came. And he looked at the car, he looked at me, he looked at the car. He said, how are you still alive? He said, I see these type of accidents every day, and people don't come out alive. He said, you must be lucky. I said, no, try bless. Because that wasn't the time. Wasn't the time. And something has come. Might not be a 5-foot piece of metal through your car, but something has come and hit you. A relationship that broke your heart. Finances that all of a sudden there weren't enough zeros at the end of the bank account. A dream or a goal that you have set out to do that you know now is your time, but everything and everyone around you seems like they're saying no. But what I say to you is when those times happen, you have to be grounded in knowing that what you've been given, nobody else has been given. That you are here for a time such as this. That I don't care what the distraction is, what the chitter-chatter that sometimes can be in your own mind is telling you, that you are enough. Martin Luther King Jr. has a saying that I love. He says, faith is taking that first step without seeing the staircase. Some of you are here on faith tonight because you believe in Billionaire Mom. You understand what it is to step out on faith. That you knew tonight was your night to meet the Master. You knew that tonight was the night that you see live for yourself how he's transforming and changing lives daily. But it's not enough just to admire him or any one of us that hold this microphone. You have to be seriously serious about your own assignment. You have to decide right here, right now, that there's no time to waste. That could have been my last day on that highway on the Cross Bronx. That could have been it for me. But I had another day, thank God. We don't know what tomorrow brings. So now is the time for us to be clear about what our mission is, to understand it. And I'm going to leave you with a gift that my grandmother gave me. And that's my secret weapon on how to take action, despite the distraction. See, I come from a West Indian background. My grandparents are from Jamaica, West Indies. And my grandmother, all right, for the Jamaicans, woo! So, my grandmother is about 5'6", 5'5". And we were fortunate when I was growing up that I lived in a 3-family home where my grandparents were there, my mother and I lived on the top and aunts on the bottom. So when I came home from school, I had family to greet me. And I remember one day I came home from school excited because there was an audition for the school play. And I said, Grandma, I want to be in this play, I want to get the leading role, and I just don't know if I'm lucky enough. And she turned to me and she put her hands on her hips. She said, look now, nothing to do with it. Courage and will, perseverance and skill. These are the 4 leaves of Lux Clover. Now at that point I said, Jamaicans have a saying for everything. I was 9 years old, what do I know about a clover? I didn't know what a clover was. But those words resonated with me. They stuck with me. And at her 91st birthday, I said to Grandma, where did this come from? Because I use it when I speak and I travel, and you know, we're in the world of suing. I don't want anyone suing me for this. She said, your great-grandfather, he was a headmaster in schools in Jamaica, West Indies, and every morning he would gather the children together and have them repeat affirmations. And can you believe at 91, she could still remember at least 10 of them. And when I created my first product called the 4 Leaves of Lux Clover, and I showed it to her, she started crying. She calls me Precious. She said, Precious, that's me. That's me. And now my grandmother is 95 and a half. God bless her. She'll be 96 this August. And I'm glad I didn't wait till she couldn't see me honor her. I'm glad I didn't wait because now her health, it fluctuates. But every time I walk in to see her, I say, courage, and she finishes it off. And will, perseverance and skill. These are the 4 leaves of Lux Clover. Remember, the courage it took for you to decide that you wanted more from life. that you decided that coming here was an investment in your future, and not just yours, but your children's children's children, because it takes one person to change the trajectory of an entire family. For you to understand, Les has a saying that I love. It's not about the haves and the have-nots. It's the will and the will-nots. So you have to decide whether or not you have the will to stick it through no matter what comes flying to you. No matter what distraction rears its ugly head. No matter what negative person wants to steal your joy. That you're able to stay focused and persevere. After all, there's no testimony without the test. And do we really appreciate all that we are and all that we've come through unless you've gone through something? I wouldn't be able to do the work I do in the coaching and the speaking had I not gone through something. An empty barrel can't fill a cup. So whatever your story is, whatever it is that you have been going through, somebody out here needs to hear it. Somebody out here, applaud for yourself, because somebody needs to hear it. Somebody needs to know that if you can do it, they can do it. If I can do it, you can do it. And last but not least, the skill set. I love the book that talks about 10,000 hours of mastery. Maxwell's book. 10,000 hours of mastery. How many of us have put in our time? What are we mastered by? Because if you're not mastering something, then something is mastering you. So what are you determined to do? What skills are you creating? In this new age and technology, the game has changed. Whether you want to tweet, post, Instagram, Pinterest, it's not an option. Because you'll be left behind. Basement crew, when have you come to an event where they tell you to text somebody and you'll get information? The game has changed. What have you learned? What have you read? What resources are you investing in so you can be ready to meet the changes of this millennium? Susan Taylor, I love her so, and I get a chance to work with her. She has a quote that says, "Now is where the power is. The future will be. We cannot rush or delay it, but we experience it by how we live each moment." Now is where the power is, ladies and gentlemen. And the next time someone, something, some situation comes up against you and tries to challenge the greatness that's inside of you, you're going to do what? Take action. I'm going to help y'all out. See, I just want to see if you can do it by yourself. But that's why you need me. Action. Action. Despite the distraction. God bless you. God bless you, please. Thank you, Mrs. Brown.
Give a tremendous round of applause. I want to talk to her. Say again? Okay, thank you. Give her another tremendous round of applause. Stacey came out to LA from New York and spoke there. And guess what, Stacey? You're going to be in Detroit, Jacksonville, Fort Lauderdale, Los Angeles again, and also Phoenix, Arizona. One of the goals of having training speakers and exposing them to audience. Let us say together, borrowed credibility. Borrowed credibility. And one of the things that's very important is that you want to create strategic alignment with people that can enhance your credibility. Does that make sense? Yes, sir. Yes, give another round of applause. How many of you have a book in you? Raise your hands, please. Got a book in you? Good. I want you to email me, and I'm going to send you some information at yes@lesbrown.com. Say, I have a book in me. Send me your information. Because what I'm doing, I had a book called Fight for Your Dreams, Part 1. I'm doing Part 2, and I'm looking for co-authors. And what it does is, that what we did, it hit number 1, and our goal and objective is expose your story and your voice in a variety of arenas, nationally and globally. Also, we're going to be doing the Caribbean tour that you're going to really enjoy this. Let's give Dr. Marcia Harris, entrepreneur extraordinaire, a round of applause. Give a round of applause. Stand up so we can see you, Marcia. Now, the other thing I want to, those are my business partners. How many of you like to make money with me? Raise your hands, please. Look here, we're going to do a special webinar with you. Just text me again. Just email me and say, Les, I want to make some money with you. I'm going to show you how to put it on steroid. Trust me on that. Yes, indeed. Now, I'm going to leave two things with you. As you think about your goals and dreams, and then I'm going to make it possible for you to ask me some questions. I want you to repeat after me, please. You got to be hungry.
You gotta be hungry.
Say it again.
You gotta be hungry.
I want you to write this down. Create a handle that you're known by. Create a handle that you're known by. When Procter & Gamble called for me, they said, we want Les Brown, and please have him tell his story about being hungry. See, your story, and I want you to write this down. This is a teaching moment. Can I give you a teaching moment?
Yes.
Write this down. Never make a point without a story. And never tell a story without a point. Information tells, stories sell. Never make a point without a story. And never tell a story without a point. And so as a result, and this is what, if you listen to her story, what was the core of her story? Where did she get the core of her story from? Her grandmother. And her story, and what did the grandmother say? That she said that what it takes to become successful. What did she say? Courage and will, perseverance and skills. Those are the selling points. Write this down. Give people methods that they can implement. Courage and skill, perseverance and will. That's a story, and those are the methods, those are the takeaways. The difference between a motivational speaker and a preacher, preachers preach the gospel about Jesus. We preach the gospel that Jesus preached.
Go ahead.
They sell the messenger. We sell his message. They talk about how to live after you die. We teach you how to live right now.
Wow.
Thank you.
Come on now.
Yeah.
Well. Oh, you don't hear me? So we're going to teach you how to transform minds. Here's something else. When you're preparing a message, 3 things you want to do. Number 1, write this down. Think, feel, and do. This is different than a sermon, which is for an emotional catharsis. Your goal and objective when you speak as a presenter, when you speak as an entrepreneur, when you speak, you want to infuse your presentation with your story to change how people think, how they feel, and what they do, so that when they leave your presence feeling better about themselves, but talking about you. Does that make sense what I'm saying?
Yes. Yes.
And that's where we drill deep. And some of you are ready to go to that next level. You know who you are, and I'm listening. I'll be here to talk with you afterwards. Now, what does it take to make your dream become real? You got dreams. I want you to think about it right now. John F. Kennedy, former president, had a challenge. The Russians were trying to compete with the United States to get to the moon first. Von Neumann, a German scientist, was called to come to the White House out of Mobile, Alabama. The cabinet was there, and all of the people that would play a role in determining what will it take for us to go to the moon and beat the Russians there. And this man, this brilliant scientist, was asked a question. As the president looked at it, and he said 5 words. 5 words. That the president allocated billions of dollars based upon these 5 words. When he spoke these words, he pushed away from the table, Ali, And he didn't say anything else, and he dropped his pen. And everybody looked at him for a moment, and then the president said, let's go. Called a news conference and said, we're going to the moon, we're going to do it in 10 years. And they did it in 8. Here are the 5 words that he spoke. Write this down. Here are the 5 words, and the room went silent. What does it take for us to go to the moon? He said, the will to do it. The will to do it. What will it take for you to build your business, to create an exit date, for you to live your dream and to live your passion? Say this with me. The will to do it. What will it take for you to change your life and align yourself to doing something that you were born